What's up, PlayStation Universe, and welcome to another episode of our video impressions. Last one we did was Watch Dogs. We went to Ubisoft, and this is the next one that we saw at Ubisoft, which is Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yes. And
we both have walked away with similar impressions. Adam actually got to play it. I watched while he played and took notes.
yeah, I think we should preempt it by saying that the game's release date is March 7th of next year. So this is pretty early in development.
Yeah, it's still an alpha.
Yeah, it's some 10 months from release. So as you'll see probably in the gameplay that we'll put up as well, it may even be in this video. Probably will be.
Probably, yeah, somewhere.
It is rough around the edges. Very much so. But I'm conflicted with this one. And I don't know how you felt when you were kind of watching me, my incredible gameplay, my incredible headshots and all that. But it just doesn't, like, the backdrop is nice. The game is set in Bolivia. There's warring factions. You're part of a Spec Ops team called Ghost or Ghosts. There's a 4-player team. There's a pretty big focus on 4-player co-op. And one of the things in the game, there's over 100 story missions, and you can do any one of the story missions at any time. So there's no linear progression. You can literally do mission 58 if you want to. You don't have to start at number 1.
And even with your teammates too, or if you do cooperatively.
Yeah.
Like, so even if you've gone through like a series, so they have like mini story arcs for different drug lords in the regions. The map's huge. First of all,
the map is big.
They've got really a lot of different areas. They said this is the biggest game that Ubisoft has ever made. So think
is
of
that a good or a bad thing?
Well, think of Far Cry scale.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than that.
Yeah, and we kind of have a sort of chain of command type situation.
Yeah.
You have this main drug lord of Bolivia, and then there's all these kind of branching paths that go from him. So you have there's influencers.
They had the. He's got his there's like 4 different groups under this guy, or how he has his power and networks with these people. Influence, trafficking, production, and security.
Yeah. So within there's mini story arcs, and each is entangled and pretty much points towards him. So we don't know yet. I guess it's speculation, but the game could be segmented into, if there's 100 story missions, 15 of each or whatever else, and then ties into a central narrative. But from playing just the gameplay and getting a brief idea of this sort of mission structure, it feels incredibly like of course it's less refined because it's still an alpha and it is very early, a less refined Ground Zeroes. Like the mission we set about doing was going into a small village, and
Ground Zeroes or Phantom Pain.
Well, both, because in Ground Zeroes you're infiltrating at the start. It's a very enclosed kind of mission, and then helicopters.
But I mean, there's more content than Ground Zeroes.
I have to stress that there is more content.
There's more content.
We'll say Phantom Pain. But we had to go in and we had to get information from a target, which would lead us to a stronghold, which we then took intel effectively. It was all very bog standard. I mean, there
wasn't anything crazy about it, but we didn't. We have no idea really what the story is, apart from being drug lords. But that's the thing, still, drug lords are not that. That's not that crazy of a topic.
Yeah, and the fact that the game kind of it pushes cooperative teamwork on these like blank canvases, as it were. There's 4 players, but like there's no person. Like they're effectively avatars that can be changed completely.
Yeah, you can customize them totally.
So take into account that you have a blank avatar. Multiply that by 4. It's going to be hard, I think, to tell an engaging narrative.
Yeah, especially when like how they have the 100 story missions and they're all completely open, but you can play the game completely solo or cooperatively all the way through, or you can mix and match as you're going through it. And if you're playing cooperatively with other people, they can jump into any mission that you've like. They can just join you in one of your next missions in that like story of that person, whatever that story is being used very loosely right now in this, because we don't even really know how deep of a story those are going to be. But they can jump into the middle of that without having played the precursors to that.
They can go back,
but then they go back. So you don't ever miss anything. But if that's how you're handling it, you really can't. You can't make a really good story or strong, impactful story.
Which I think is. See, that's what, like, as we discussed in the previous video about Watch Dogs, it's a big world and there's plenty to do. but the narrative and the tone, it all seems pretty engaging. This, it just seems, again, will reiterate for the umpteenth time, it is very, like, it's pre-alpha, or it was alpha, sorry. It just, nothing stood out from the game. Like, the shooting mechanics felt like a slightly less weighted version of The Division. Guns seemed pretty standard, movement was standard, infiltration was pretty standard. You can like drive in all guns blazing while people provide cover fire like via sniper and stuff, but it didn't seem like there was anything that really made it stand apart, or like stand above anything that we've seen before. And the fact that if you have these blank canvas avatars and then you have this story that can be piecemeal and you can jump from one part to the next and the world is so big, I just don't understand how they can craft something that's going to be engaging for 15-20 hours.
And that's the thing. Well, that's where they put themselves in a weird corner, because it's like this game is going to do really, really well with the game entertainment audience, and meaning like YouTubers and Twitch players that are like into Battlefield. Yeah, like this is very much a Battlefield game, but it's only 4 people at a time that are playing against other NPCs. So you can do crazy, like one of the things that why I'm saying that is because there's 60 different vehicles in this game. Yeah. So you have a huge variety, and you have total control of how you want to interact with these bases, or infiltrating, or just blowing up cars in it, or whatever. Yeah. Even the same kind of thing you see in Battlefield all the time, where you throw a bunch of C4 on something, run it in, and then blow it up.
Or even kind of a less extreme version of, like, say, even Just Cause, or liberating outposts and stuff or whatever, and then coming in with vehicles, and it's obviously not as crazy, and you can't strap C4 to cows, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, it'd be good if you could, but...
So it's in a really unique position, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good position, where it is right now. But
like, if you just, as I said, if you just really kind of think of the aspects that we've been shown, I don't understand how it can kind of culminate in something that is really worth our time. Again, I don't think there's anything, like, it's solid, but I don't think there's anything spectacular about it. The cover mechanics seem pretty standard. There's parachuting, that seems pretty standard. You provide cover fire, that's standard. Infiltrating, gathering reconnaissance and stuff. It seems to borrow a bit from The Division, where there's this like big map and you go in packs and you do these like small missions. There's no loot system at the moment that we know of, but yeah, it just seems more of a drop-in co-op game with your friends, and you play the missions. It's not exactly independent of a story, but you're not there for the story.
Yeah, there's no uniqueness that I've seen in this at all, like any kind of even character design, because partly the characters, like we said, are fully customizable. Yeah. And there's
which I'm sick of, to be honest.
Yeah, and actually, like I didn't hear the gameplay audio when I was watching because Adam had a headset on, but we just watched some of the footage that we got from it, and the acting is just so unnatural and unfitting. Like they were like when you were interrogating that one guy.
Oh yeah.
It just sounded like somebody who's just like reading a script blind for the first time, and then it was so misplaced.
I guess they are melding mechanics and world building in a way that they're taking aspects, as we said, of The Division and open world games and stuff. But it just seems to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Again, you had the Phantom Pain, where the gameplay was so on point, and the infiltration missions and gathering intel and like grabbing targets was just so finely tuned, and the way you could approach it was so finely tuned. That this game features that stuff, but it just does not seem as refined, and it doesn't seem like it's evolved from that. Yeah, doesn't seem to have any ideas of its own. It just borrows loads, but it doesn't seem to put into a cohesive package that's exciting.
That's the problem, is that the whole focus of this game is freedom and the ability to do whatever you want and have things react to you however you approach them. So like they said that like NPCs in the game have no script whatsoever. Yeah. So they'll act in accordance to what's happening around them. Yeah. So like if you have 3 people, if you have 3 of your teammates approaching from their right side, and somebody from the front, that NPC is going to run like away, like back from the opposite direction, obviously, from those people. But if you have your team like split out and arranged in a different position, they'll run a different way. They won't necessarily just run to the same car or run to the same thing. Or even if they get in the car, they might change different vehicles depending on what's nearby, or the chase could go on for a couple minutes, and they'll like try to shack up somewhere and hide from you, or it'll go on for 10 minutes and they get away from you. And it's
exactly, yeah.
So there's just that huge flexibility, and I like that idea a lot because you have some range in how you can just be more creative in what you're doing in the game world. But
I prefer, I know it's a big world, but I prefer
Yeah.
that focus. As we talked about today when we were there, it would have been nice if there was more overarching consequences from like failing missions in that sense. So you're going in to get a target, the target leaves, it's not a matter of a chase for 5 minutes and they hold up somewhere else and you find them there. It'd be better, since there is a branching path from that main drug lord, that if you fail on getting this one important target, he goes back to that drug lord, relays information or something, and it shifts the narrative and it shifts how you can approach certain missions, because they're aware
like your
of,
intel is completely
they're
gone now.
could be aware of how you went about trying to get that person, what, where, who you were with, etc. You know, there's like better options. I think what they're presenting now, it's solid, but it's unspectacular. There's nothing I can see.
Yeah, it's just there really there isn't really anything that's stand out remarkable to it from what it's doing. I mean, it's impressive the reaction that they're getting from NPCs and the size and the variety of
the map is
vehicles and
very
customization,
big.
But
I am interested in that dynamic. 60 vehicles, that's a lot of vehicles.
there's a lot of vehicles. They do is 11 different types of terrains too. That was another important thing. So it's a lot of different environment types, which also was mainly why I wanted to know how many vehicles were in it, because
and you'll see from our gameplay, like we did something pretty bog standard, like it was just a grasslands, you know, with some mountainous areas, but it would be nice to go into marshlands and desert areas perhaps, and you know, Bolivia's a pretty diverse place. So
I'm just trying to look back here on the
notes.
I don't think there's anything else about that. It was the main thing that they're pushing is that you can play it solo, co-op, either way the whole time.
Yeah, and
however you want it, or mix and match.
That was the whole thing, and it was the same tone you got through playing Watch Dogs. There is this whole 360 kind of gameplay aspect. You can approach it any way you want.
Yeah.
And while the tone and stuff seems to fit better with Watch Dogs, Ghost Recon does have that as well. You can do it anyway. But the main thing is there a dangling carrot? Do you want to? Like, why do you want to?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like, it's hard for me to give any kind of insight to that since I didn't play it personally, but from what I saw, there was nothing. Just even gameplay itself.
I mean, it felt solid, but I don't think that's not really enough anymore. Like,
no, it was expected. It looked like that's what you would expect from that type of game.
Yeah, and I mean, the Division has done well, but I think, you know, you need to up your game at this stage. And while there's some slightly neat ideas, it doesn't seem like there's anything that it has of its own. Of course, we will see a lot more of this game. Yeah. A lot of the questions we did ask in the interview post playing the game, was a lot of things we asked that they couldn't answer, or we're going to delve into at a later date. So, but with the tweak in their eye, like thing in their eye, you can tell there is probably some pretty interesting aspects. They
have had a lot of fun making this game, from one of the people that we talked to, which was
you can see the passion there certainly, and there is definitely interesting aspects that we haven't heard yet. But I guess I'm just surprised, I think, from playing it, that we're able to play it at this stage.
Yeah, this being alpha, and it's going. There is a release date that's projected, which is March 7th, 2017.
Like, this game doesn't seem like it should have been in a playable state. Yeah, like it's a playable state, but I don't think.
But not to release to the press.
Yeah, but I guess when was it was revealed at E3 last year, right?
I think so.
Yeah, around before and stuff. Yeah, I think maybe they thought
they jumped the gun a bit.
But yeah, because again, as we talked about Watch Dogs, you don't want to leave things like 2 years. Maybe they jumped the gun a little bit. Yeah. And that might come back to bite them, perhaps. But again, it is too early to tell. This game hasn't shaped up, you know, to what it will be. Like, there is still a long way to go. So I guess still reserve judgment. I guess from a base, like, foundation level, I don't see anything too spectacular. But
no, and there's nothing inherently wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
When there's like so many games, like every week games are coming out, and there's always games vying for our attention. Like it's overwhelming most times. Like, we don't know how good we have it in a lot of respects. There just doesn't seem to be anything here yet that is drawing me towards it.
Right. Yeah.
Anything beyond a weekend, like, or maybe like you jump on with your buddies one night, like every 2 weeks, to play a couple of missions and see how crazy you can make things and the different diverse angles you can come at missions. But Yeah, I mean, we'll see in the coming months. Hopefully, I'm proved wrong. I always want games to succeed. You know, I want obviously people to enjoy them. So
that's for sure. Because it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with the game by any means. It's just that there's nothing that elevates it to being worthy of vying for your $60 of either that month or that couple of months for whoever's out there trying to decide on a game.
Yeah, I mean, it was shown too early, but we have to play the hand we're dealt. So so Ghost Recon Wildlands, half decent. I guess we will see in the near future.
Glowing review.
Yeah, hopefully we're proven wrong or I'm proven wrong. I guess you got to see a little bit, but I got to play it. But of course, stay tuned to PSU all through this week for extensive E3 coverage. Mm-hmm. We're going to be pretty much giving reactions to every single conference, and we have a lot of interviews planned, a lot of gameplay demos, a lot of both written previews and just roundtable discussions because we have a lot of appointments. So as ever, stay tuned to PSU.com and PS YouTube for all the latest news, and we will see you later.